What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen, and we are live on an awesome Wednesday evening. So great to see each and every one of you guys. Unfortunately, the last time we were all live together was Monday Night Football. The good news is it's National Football League. Every 7 days, you've got a chance to rewrite the story that was written about you just the week prior. And they've got a chance to do that in a big way on the road against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's going to be our second segment today. The first segment, we're going to talk about a sneaky good practice squad signing. Also going to get you updated on everything injury-wise for Nnamdi Madubuike, Kyle Van Noy, Isaiah Likely. Lots of big updates that have come out very, very recently, as in the last, Gage? 10 minutes? So, we're getting things as we go. We're trying to get them in there as we can. And that's why you guys tune into us. Last up, our live Ravens Rundown Mailbag. Your questions, my answers, everybody's favorite time of the week. Before you ask me anything, I'd like to ask you something. Who's playing for the loss against the Detroit Lions? I put a poll out, and the poll right now is 45% Zach Orr, 22% Derrick Henry, 31% John Harbaugh, 3% Lamar Jackson. We got Gunner for real in here saying, yo, first, Ravens King asking, is the season over? Hell no, it's not. Gunner, great response there saying, no, it's not. Alexander Gwillan said, are we winning? We are winning the Chiefs. Chill out, people. I agree, man. I agree. Mog saying, man, I've been waiting for this. Killian Lee saying, Joey Ravens King saying, is the season over? We will likely go 12-5, and that means we will get the 3 seed and will not take us far in the playoffs. Our season is over. Ravens King, I don't like to boot you because you're always with us, but if you keep this negativity up, man, Gage is going to have no choices, okay? Gage is not going to have a choice. Plummer saying the entire defensive line was absent at practice. Yeah, man, I know. It is it's a bummer. We're going to talk about that. We got Acre Clayton in there. Should we sign C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Says Jay Relomes. Great question. Make sure that gets in because, Gage, I'll put that in the title, actually. So, cheers to Jay Relomes for putting a comment, a question so good enough, it's going to make the title. And we got a $2 super chat, and it's from somebody we don't want a $2 super chat from. But, hey, that's okay. We'll take it. We will take it any day. Drizzy saying, right, get him out of here. Everybody's to blame with the loss. Joe saying, Joe, is there a chance we could still win every single game, make the playoffs? Yeah, I think we're going to make the playoffs. I think we're going to win a lot of football games. Guys, it sucks losing. And it sucks losing in that way. Because this franchise, this team, this fan base is not used to seeing this team lose at home and lose at home in that fashion. Okay? It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Okay, I can promise you that. The reason I believe it's going to be okay is because you've got a chance to go on the road in Arrowhead, a place where you have not won a lot, and against a team that you have not beaten a lot, but you got a chance to play Kansas City. Speaking of that game, how is your confidence level? Or I should say, what is your confidence level that the Ravens will beat KC? Let me know in the comment section down below. 100 to 1. That's the scale, okay? If you're at a 100, you are using the G word and saying, I guarantee you that the Baltimore Ravens will beat Kansas City. If you're at a 1, you're basically saying, I guarantee that the Chiefs are going to beat the Ravens. You let me know where you're at. Jay is saying 75%. Moggs, I like that. I like that question. Although I agree with some of it. So, I don't believe that how they're running Derrick Henry is wrong. I don't believe that. I do think Keaton should be in, and I do think Zay should get a little more screen. So I do agree with that for you. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. Amen. And you know how I know that? Ask the Pittsburgh Steelers last season. They started hot, and then they lost 7 of their last 8 games or something like that? Let me look up the Steelers' 2024 schedule. It was bad, man. It was really, really bad. And we loved it because we gave them a good bit of those losses. Okay, going back to last year. They beat us in Week 11. They beat the Browns in Week 12. They beat the Bengals in Week 13. And then they beat the Browns. Okay, but then December 15th, lost to the Eagles. December 24th, lost to the Ravens. Lost to the Chiefs. Lost to the Bengals. Lost to the Ravens. They lost their last 5 games straight. So it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. The Chiefs report is in here, and I won't stand for it. I need you guys to get FKC in the chat as many times as you can. Okay? FKC, FKC, FKC. We got to get the Chiefs report out of here. And if we can't get them out of here, then hell, I'll block them. Ryan says, what'd you say? Where's Victor's question? Victor, great question. Ask it again, but use hashtag Ravens. You could throw that up there, Gage. You got to show people how you ask some questions. So later in today's show, we're going to be doing a mailbag. And if you want to get in said mailbag, you got to use hashtag Ravens in the chat or super chat to get on today's Q&A. There we go. Getting you guys in the chat. We got to get the Chiefs report out of here. You know, I made a bet today with one Jackson Durham, who is the one I'm assuming is behind all this tomfoolery. He said, if Henry fumbles for a 4th week in a row and the Ravens lose to the Chiefs, you come on the Chiefs Report Victory Monday show and take a boot. If by some miracle the Ravens win, I'll do the same on Ravens Live. Deal? We shook on it. So that means what you're going to do is you're going to see Jackson Durham in the 4th quarter of that football game. Because I got a good feeling, man. I got a good feeling. Marcus saying after that loss, it's up. Ravens King saying, wow, now everybody's spamming fire John Harbaugh. Interesting. Occupy's in here. What's going on, Occupy? Nico Sambat saying Ravens King absolutely with fire John Harbaugh. Now we're just getting the fire John Harbaugh's going. This is hilarious. You guys never fail to entertain me. That is for sure. Hey, make sure you guys are liking today's show. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, okay? It's free to do so. Does not cost you a dime. Oh, wait, do we have somebody in here? Oh, wait, one of my buddies is in here. Did I miss his chat? Apparently, one of my friends, Sam, is hanging out with us. And I think I missed him saying something. Okay, never mind. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to answer that. Okay, make sure you like the video. We're at 27 likes. I got to get that to 40. Once we get that to 40, we'll go get going with my first segment on today's show. That first segment is all about a good signing to the practice squad, and then, of course, we're going to give you a ton of injury updates. 28 likes. Now we need 12 more. Come on. If you want the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button. If you want the Ravens to beat the Chiefs, all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button. We got to start it today. We got to start it right here. There we go. Up to 34. Just need 6 more. Okay, if anybody can guess what's in the cup. If you can guess what's in the cup, I'll give you a free raffle ticket for Sunday's jersey raffle. Okay? If you guess. Gage, can you guess what's in the cup? It is. It is. There we go. We got 40 likes. We got to 40 likes. It's not Dr. Pepper, no. Drizzy says coffee, no. Already had that this morning. You know, me and Kennedy, my wife and I, we got a Raven 76 B More says vodka and orange juice. LOL. My wife and I, we got a free espresso machine from her mom. And who's coming into town tonight, funny enough. And so I've just been like drinking so many lattes because they're free. Like we just make them. That's what I have in my, mason jar every morning. Gage and I sit right next to each other. But I've kind of gotten tired of those. And so I've just gone back to just, French press, regular coffee, and it's been giving me a little bit of new life. Welp says unsweetened tea. Occupy says water. Jay says water. Drizzy says Coke. Chief says liquor. All wrong. I'm drinking a Celsius packet. Celsius and water. So you're close. Henny and Red Bull. I wish. We'll say it's Henny and Red Bull, okay? That's what I'm drinking, Henny and Red Bull, so I'll cheers that to you guys. Okay. That's going to do it for our build-up. Let's get into our first segment. I've got a feeling this one's going to be a long one because I originally scripted it, and then we got a ton of new news. So hold on to your horses. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you the new signing for the Baltimore Ravens, and then we're going to get all into the injury news. Okay? Baltimore Ravens Rundown, segment number 1. Gage, are we ready to roll? Awesome. All right. Coming at you in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. I did a little bit of scientist work, okay? Put the lab coat on. Put the goggles on. Dove into the analytics. Did my best nerd impression. I saw our channel likes for the history of this channel is at 329,472. That means we're only 528 likes away from 330,000 likes in this channel's history. If you've never liked a video, change that today. If you've done it before, do it again. And if you do it every time, hey, this one counts as well. Hit that thumbs up button to help me out. Alrighty, we asked this morning, and Eric DaCosta is doing something. If you watch this morning's video, we talked all about a possible trade for an interior defensive lineman. Well, Eric DaCosta made a move. Not by trade, and not for a name that probably a ton of you guys know, but regardless, we knew this team needed something in the interior of the defensive line. They needed something on that front four, and Eric DaCosta has delivered something and someone in the form of Taven Bryan. Mike Garafolo breaking the news this afternoon that Taven Bryan was signed to the Ravens practice squad. Former first-round pick with the Jacksonville Jaguars, added to the mix in Baltimore with Nnamdi Madubuike, of course, dealing with that neck injury. He was picked by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft. He started 46 games since 2018. He was selected, funny enough, if you go back to the 2018 NFL Draft, 3 picks before Lamar Jackson. I bet with their current situation going on in Jacksonville, they wish that they could redo that draft over. Hell, they probably wish they could redo a lot of drafts over. Regardless, here's what he's looked like over the past 4 seasons. So the last 2 with the Colts, not bad. 44 tackles combined, 3 sacks combined in the last 2 seasons. 2 years prior to that, his best year was 2022, 26 tackles, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. His final year with the Jaguars wasn't terrible either. 2 sacks, 4 tackles for loss. Look, this was obviously necessary, given the health circumstances in the interior of the defensive line, which we're going to get to in just a second, but also just flat out given the play of the defensive line, you have to add somebody. You have to somehow shake this thing up. Maybe you can find a diamond in the rough somewhere, and maybe that diamond in the rough is Taven. I'd be surprised, if I'm being honest with you, to see him on the practice squad for long. I think that he's going to be on the active roster for the game against Kansas City, same way that Brent Urban was. Unfortunately, Brent Urban did not look that great on the active roster, but regardless, he was there. He was playing. And the reason I believe he's going to be playing against Kansas City is because it can't really get much worse than what these pass rushers did against the Detroit Lions. We've talked about this before. The pass rush win rates, they were horrific. Adafe Owe, 17.6. Travis Jones, 13.3. Mike Green, 4.2. Peebles, 0. Smith, 0. Robinson, 5.6. Basically, that statistic measures which percentage of your pass rushes do you get off your block within 2.5 seconds. So the lower it is, the worse it is. Unfortunately, all those numbers are pretty low. Look, I'm not expecting Taven Bryan to come in here and go out and get 100 sacks this season. I'm not really expecting him to do much when it comes to rushing the passer anyway. But if we can at least shore up the run, That would be incredibly helpful because at least last year in the beginning of the season, you had a terrible secondary, but your run defense was stout. This year, what's making me a little bit nervous is both sides of your defense, stopping the run, stopping the pass, they're non-existent. Obviously, when you add some people, you got to release some people as well. They did that twice today. Anthony Miller released. Dearness Johnson released as well. Multiple roster moves made by Baltimore. It's been a busy 24 hours, 12 hours for Eric DeCosta. Look, they're just trying to piece some things together. This is always what happens about a couple weeks in the NFL season. You lose some guys due to injury. You play some pretty bad football. You got to see if you can switch some things up. Grade the Taven Bryan signing for me in the comment section down below. Those red pins out. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. It's a practice squad signing. I don't know why you'd give it an F. I don't think you can give a practice squad signing like anything less than a B-, but you go ahead. Give me your grade. Stick around, okay? Don't go anywhere. We got some really big injury news. Nnamdi Madubuike, Isaiah Likely. We got updates on both those guys coming up in just a second. Before that, I'm going to tell you guys about an awesome offer from our awesome sponsor, great friends over at PrizePicks. If you download the app, use our code CLNS. You get $50 in lineups when you play just $5. You and I, we make decisions every single day. But on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks offers injury reboots. If one of your players loses the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks won't count it as a loss. PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you could still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You could double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. The good news is, pretty good at PrizePicks, okay? My picks tend to hit. I got the more on Zay Flowers. Half a receiving touchdown. Feel like he's going to have a little bit of a comeback performance. Speaking of a comeback performance, it's exactly what Derrick Henry needs. Give me the more on half a rushing touchdown for him. And I get it. This defense isn't good. So give me the more on Patrick Mahomes' 247.5 passing yards. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and in the description of today's video. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, let's talk about Nnamdi Madubuike. John Harbaugh spoke today to the media after practice, said he's concerned about Nnamdi Madubuike's long-term status, and he confirmed he was not going to play this week against the Kansas City Chiefs. First off, I want to say, not very surprised by that. Second off, I want to say, I don't feel good about Nnamdi Madubuike. I'm usually glass half full. I usually like to look on the bright side of things. It's hard for me to feel that way with Nnamdi because it's a neck injury. Guys, that's incredibly serious. And it sucks, too, because he had an awesome year in 2023. Took a little bit of a dip in 2024. And so far, through the 2 games he played in 2025, it felt like he was getting back to who he was, to who we knew him as. And hell, now after that performance against Detroit, 0 sacks, horrible pass rushing game, you really wish he was on this team. Not practicing today. He was not the only one, right? You had a lot of guys on your interior not practicing. Nnamdi, Kyle Van Noy, Travis Jones, and Broderick Washington both not practicing. That makes kind of why you signed Taven Bryan a little bit more, obvious. The good thing is, right, Isaiah Likely, not on that list. Another big update on him. John Harbaugh spoke to the media after practice today and said he expects to and he would like to see Likely play against Kansas City. So that's some good news for your Wednesday evening. Some other good news. There are some healthy defensive linemen. Now, are these the defensive linemen we want to be healthy? No. Let's just call it what it is. 4 of these guys on the practice squad. One of them rookie. Another one of them you signed like in late July. Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. That's really all you got to say. Because this is coming off of the back of the Detroit Lions game where you were terrible. And you look at the numbers for the season, and they are terrible. A 14.4% pressure rate, 30th best in the National Football League. 3 sacks, 30th best best in the National Football League, a blitz percentage of 12.1%, 30th most in the National Football League. Guys, this team doesn't like to blitz, and I don't get why, because if they're not blitzing, they're not getting to the quarterback. And now you got Travis Jones not practicing, Roger Washington not practicing. Yikes. I don't love it one bit. And if I'm being honest with you, like whatever's happening with this defensive line, it does seem like a coaching issue too. Like we're not just going to talk about the health. We're not just going to talk about their lack of performance. We're not going to just talk about what they've done so far and not mention Zach Orr. Because I think Zach Orr needs to be discussed in this. And yeah, I get it. They did not have Kyle Van Noy or Nnamdi Madubuike against Detroit in that game on Monday night. But still, you knew that going into it. It's not like either of those guys just disappeared after the second quarter. You went into that ball game knowing they weren't playing. Your scheme, your game plan had to be better than what it was. Now, like I said earlier, I like to be glass half full. I like to be positive. To offer you some positivity, you're about to go against an offensive line that, frankly, is not very good. Jawan Taylor, 45 PFF grade. Trey Smith, 73.4. Tennessee Volunteer, absolute dog. Greed Humphreys, 66.2. Kingsley Suamataia, 51.3. Terrible. Josh Simmons, 53.6. Terrible. You got an opportunity on Sunday. If you can't rush the passer against the Chiefs, I'd argue you can't rush the passer against anybody. Now, Mahomes is slippery, obviously. You knew that. You got to worry about that going into it. Even though he's not near as quick and mobile as Lamar Jackson is, he's hard to bring down. He can make plays with his legs. He's great at extending plays. But if you can't pressure him against that five, then something is horribly wrong with this team, this coaching staff, this personnel, the health of everything. Like, we got some pretty big problems. We got one more injury update to get to before we get out of here, but I want you guys to tell me, how many times will Baltimore sack Patrick Mahomes? You let me know in the comment section down below. I'm hoping it's at least 3, but we will see. Before we get you out of here, we got to tell you about the health status of one Xavier Worthy, because that's going to be a big deal in Sunday's game. Andy Reid said that every player on the active roster is expected to participate in today's practice. That's coming from the Chiefs version of Jeff Zreback, covers the Chiefs for The Athletic. That is Nate Taylor. And then Mark Gunnels is coming from Andy Reid, said he's optimistic about Xavier Worthy playing this week. He, quote, feels good. I never want to wish an injury on a player. I'm never going to wish an injury on a player. I would like it more if Xavier Worthy didn't play than he did, but it's kind of trending that he's going to be there. He hasn't played since week 1. If you're watching that week 1 Friday night YouTube game between the Chiefs and the Chargers, he had a massive collision, not with a Los Angeles Charger, with his own teammate, one Travis Kelce, middle of the field, and he's had a shoulder problem ever since. Now, the issue he has is it's a torn labrum, or at least a partially torn labrum. Now, the interesting thing about that is he's not going to get surgery. You could fix a torn labrum, but you got to get it surgically fixed, and then you're going to be out for months. He's already said he's not going to do that. So now at this point, he's just got to learn to play through it, learn to play through that pain. Like, it's not going to get any better, really, without having this surgery. And so the thing is, like, he'll be there, but he's not going to be 100%. He's not going to be 100% for the rest of the season. And I did just get, as we are filming this video, because he sits right on the other side of the studio door, a Slack from our Chiefs Report host. He was a full participant today, and he 100% will play. And that's going to be big for Kansas City. That's going to be big for Kansas City. It's going to be big for Patrick Mahomes. It's going to be big for Andy Reid. Hell, it's going to be big for Travis Kelce. Because without Xavier Worthy, and even with him, it's not like the Chiefs have many elite weapons. Isaiah Pacheco is much worse than I think people originally thought a couple of years ago. Marquise Hollywood Brown, I mean, we know that experiment, and it's only gotten worse as he's gotten older. Tyquan Thornton, their third best wide receiver. Travis Kelce is aging. Seems like Father Time is finally catching up to him. You can win this ball game with or without him playing. I'm meaning Xavier Ward. I'm going to, later in this week, break this game down fully. But this Chiefs team is as beatable as they've been over the last half decade. But to beat them, you're going to need a big step up from this defense. If you play the way you played on Monday night against the Detroit Lions, you will lose. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, I don't care if they have me, producer Gage, and your mom lining up at the wide receiver position, they're good enough to score points, especially if your defense is doing what they did on Monday against Detroit. Make sure you got me followed on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram, same handle for both. Made it super easy. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. If you have not subscribed, got to make that change today and hit that sub button. There we go. It feels like I'm missing a good Slack message. Is that true? I'll get in there after we're done live. Alrighty, we had 110 people watching. This is, I think, Gage, I think I'm right by saying this. This might be our biggest weekly live show audience ever. So to those who are with us, thank you so much for being here. Okay. 59 likes, now 60. Make sure you like the video if this is your first time here. Make sure you get a question in. #Ravens or Super Chat to get on today's Q&A. Speaking of Super Chats, Gage, do you mind getting those up there? Perfect. We got a couple Super Chats we got to get to. Is the watch party one? In GFX 3, there should be a regular one that has it big. If it's not in there, just do the watch party one. It doesn't care. Victor saying Jalen Mahomes, that's a good point. Could Henry be struggling because he doesn't have Ricard to help out in the backfield? Jay, I could not have said it better myself, man. I could not. Victor says, should Chuck Pagano take over a bigger role in the defense? Victor, coming in with an awesome question. Honestly, Victor, I might make that a full video on Friday. That is a phenomenal question. Thank you for being my executive producer here. I wouldn't mind, man. They got a great defensive mind. The only thing is, though, is like he came out of retirement to kind of just be an analyst, to be an assistant coach. Does he want to take on the responsibilities of being a defensive coordinator? I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We will see. Hey, you can just throw it up there. It's fine. Alrighty, we got a $2 super chat. You don't need to put anything above it. Just throw it like that. That's fine. Love to see it. Here we go, Steelers. Get out of here. We don't care about your Black and Yellow podcast. Shout out to Victor Denson. Sending in a 5. My man. My man. Hey, I'll give him a raffle ticket for this. Gage, make sure we write this down to remind ourselves to give him a raffle ticket for Sunday's jersey raffle. He's already getting in. And usually we say $5 is one ticket. How about in our weekly live shows? I'm just going to give a deal. $5 is 2 tickets. Okay? You want 2 tickets to Sunday's jersey raffle? Send in a 5. Occupy saying, in your opinion, what else needs to be done in order to put the Ravens on the right path? I think you got to get healthy. I think you have to start blitzing more. I just think your defense needs to be far more aggressive. And I think those are a couple things. I think the offensive line needs to take a step up. Maybe you just need to max protect more. I don't know what needs to happen. It's tough, man. There's a lot that needs to change. There is a lot that needs to change, unfortunately. Get into today's Q&A. That's coming up in a second. Matty Boom with a $2 super chat. Henry should never be next to Lamar, only behind him. So, Matty, are you saying that as in he should only be in the pistol, or Lamar should only be under center with Derrick Henry in? Let me know down below, my friend. He did say the secondary was the best he's seen. Yeah, man, the secondary it's not great, but do you know how much harder it is to play in the secondary when you have absolutely zero pressure on the quarterback. Like, it's impossible. Okay, it is impossible. C King, King of the Seas, coming in with a 5. This team makes me so sad. What the F is wrong with our O and D line? Yeah, it's struggling, man. It is struggling. Yeah, shout out to Matty Boom, saying he should only be under center. I saw something this week. I forgot who it was, but when you're in the pistol, it makes it so much easier for defenses to kind of read what's coming next. And so I wonder what is going to happen, like, for people to, overcorrect to fix that. Matty, boom. Doesn't matter. Henry should never be next to him. Henry doesn't heat up without a running head start. Yeah, I kind of agree. I like getting Derrick Henry a little bit, of steam under him, a little bit of an ability to, rev his engine, do the old, ram, load up, whatever. C King coming in with a 5. So that means 2 jersey raffle tickets already for C King, King of the Seas. Duck says, I just joined. What's the new big move? Please tell me. They added a new defensive tackle. My friend, former first-round pick, Duck. Former first-round pick named Taven Bryan. Was a first-round pick in 2018 by the Jacksonville Jaguars. He joined the practice squad, but I imagine he's going to make the active roster on Sunday. Okay? I imagine he's going to make the active roster on Sunday. Jay Relomes. Man, we're having more luck than we did on Sunday, Gage. Oh, that's funny. Jay Relomes coming in with a 5. We'll get to that one as well. Saying we need to have Hamilton. Also, hey, Gage, those 2 questions, those 3 super chats with a question on them, those will go in the mailbag, okay? Those will be, so what we'll do, it doesn't matter if it's a super chat because we can just pull it out, So what we'll do, I'm going to Slack you, okay? Cool. We need to have Hamilton play more of that Swiss Army knife role to improve the pass rush a little. Yeah, but the thing is like, at the end of the day, you're going to have to win your one-on-one matchups on the defensive line. You have to beat who is over you. You have to beat who you're lining up against. And I don't know how much of Kyle Hamilton being a Swiss Army knife is going to help those guys win their pass rush reps. Like, sure, it might help them a little bit because you might be able to line him up on the edge and act like he's, rushing, act like he's about to come in and blitz. But at the end of the day, it's up to those guys, man. It is up to those guys. Another 5 from C King, King of the Seas. Our D line would have let a toddler into a rave without an ID. It was absolutely embarrassing. Yeah, it was bad, man. It was really bad. Is Jair playing against Kansas City, says Elgato? Good question. Good question. You need help with something, Gage? Bang! Did you get help, or did you do that yourself? Bang! Okay, next step. One more thing. Fit that text to box on the top. Gage, I am like a father who is watching their son go off to college. That was some immense pride right there. That was some immense pride. Seeking, this team makes me so sad. What the F is wrong with our offensive line and defensive line. Offensive line, I just think they're young, and I think you got a lot of holes in the interior. And when you have 2 guards you can't really rely on, that's going to make it really, really hard for you. Jay Relomes, #Ravens. We need to have Hamilton play more of that Swiss Army knife. Already answered that one a little bit. And then we have that 5 from Seeking as well. Our D-line will let a toddler into a rave. It was absolutely embarrassing. So, Seeking's going to get 4 raffle tickets. Jay Relome's going to get 2 raffle tickets. And my man Victor is going to get 2 as well. And again, if you send in a 5, we're raffling off a jersey on Sunday's stream against the Chiefs. That'll give you 2 raffle tickets. Heck, if you put in a 10, I'll go ahead and say that gives you 5 raffle tickets, okay? If you put in a 10, and if you put in a 20, we're going to go ahead and say that's 10. Okay, we're giving away deals. This is a Wednesday weekly live show. Wednesday midweek live show. We got to give away some good deals, man. We got to. Shout out to Jackson Durham for slacking me mid segment with some crucial. He gave me some crucial information. I needed that info, and he gave it right to me. So shout out to him. It was great. It was great. Okay, 71 people watching. Make sure you keep on liking the video. Coming up next, we got our preview. Ravens, Chiefs, Sunday Night Football, baby. Or it's not Sunday Night Football. Sunday regular football. America's Game of the Week, 3:25, 4:25 Eastern. Okay, guys, are we ready to roll? Let me make sure. Okay, yeah, this is going out on Sunday. Tonight. Yep. That first one is usually always the night of. Great. Okay. Ooh, I like that question from Raven 76B more. Okay, cool. We're at roll gauge. Let's do it. Our second to last segment as well, coming up to you right now. We all remember this. Okay, it was my first ever regular season watch party on the Ravens Rundown, and it was excruciatingly frustrating. But now it's time to run it back. You get to take on the Chiefs. You get to take them on in their stadium, and you've got a chance to get that win you've been waiting to get since week 1 of the 2024 season, and this one's going to be even more sweet because, let's face it, with the way your season started, you need a win. Coming up on today's show, we got some injury news. Then we're going to get into keys to victory. And then I'm going to give you my score prediction, okay? I'm going to give you Chiefs, Ravens, who I think is going to win, what the score is going to be. And also, dude, I'm just excited. It's going to be a fun one. Speaking of fun things, tonight we're going to be going live for Chiefs versus Ravens. Or should I say, this afternoon. 3:25 Eastern time is when we'll go live. Of course, at the 4:25 kickoff, you'll get play-by-play, in-depth analysis. 94,000 views the last time we went live for this game, week 1 of last year. We'll have a jersey raffle at the end of the game, so make sure you don't miss out on the fun. So to make sure you don't miss out on the best fan environment for these ball games, subscribe, turn on those notifications. 48.5, that's the over-under for this one. Ravens currently sitting as a 2.5-point favorite on the road. I think that shows you what Vegas still believes of this Ravens team and what they believe about the Kansas City Chiefs so far. Kyle Van Noy, obviously, he's not going to be playing in this one. He hurt his hamstring a couple weeks ago against Cleveland Browns. He's going to be out for multiple weeks. Unfortunately, Nnamdi Madubuike was out on Monday Night Football. You thought maybe if a miracle happened, you would get him back and he'd be good to go against Kansas City. But unfortunately, that's not the truth either. John Harbaugh spoke to the media on Wednesday afternoon after practice, said he's concerned about his long-term status, confirmed he won't play this week. Obviously, it was a big miss not having him against Detroit. Hopefully, this team is going to have some people step up and will be able to pressure Patrick Mahomes. But that's not where this thing starts when it comes to winning this football game. I believe the first key to victory is run the ball. Okay? It's simple. But I mean it this week, man. That's why I put it in all caps. Run the damn football. I'm not even going to discuss fumbles. I'm not even going to talk about it. We know that Derrick Henry's had a problem this season. A fumble every 14 touches. Some at some very inopportune times as well. But that doesn't matter for this game. I'm just focused on him doing his job as a running back. On running the football. Because when this offense is balanced, it's unstoppable. In his last 2 weeks, they haven't been great, man. Against Cleveland, 11 carries, 23 yards. The first drive against the Detroit Lions, we thought he was back. 3 carries, 36 yards, a touchdown. But then the rest of that game, 9 carries for 14 yards. Look, No quarterback is good in an unbalanced offense. Okay? I don't care if you're Joe Montana, if you're Troy Aikman, if you're Tom freaking Brady. If you can't also run the football, a quarterback's going to struggle pushing his team down the field. The O-line is especially bad when you're unbalanced as well. Because if they know you're passing, with this front five, man, they can just tee off on you. So it's going to make everybody better, everything better, if you can run the football, if you can be balanced. Lamar's going to be better for it. The offensive line's going to be better for it. The receivers are going to be better for it. And we all know, good and well, Derrick Henry is going to be much better for it. I'm not worried about his fumbles. I don't think he's washed. I've still got confidence in him, but I need to see it back today. Okay? Don't jinx it for me. Do you want the Ravens to beat the Chiefs? Simple question. If your answer is yes, like the video. If your answer is no, then get out of here. We don't want you watching it anyway, okay? Don't jinx it. I'm superstitious. If you want the Ravens to take down Kansas City in Kansas City, hit that thumbs up button. Number 2, the offensive line has to step up. It has to step up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The film was pretty diabolical for pretty much everybody on that starting five. There were multiple times where Lamar Jackson was at the top of his drop, and this one's on a rollout to the right, and a guy like Aiden Hutchinson is already out of his block. That's against Ronnie Stanley and Andrew Voorhees. And then this next clip, that one's against Roger Rosengard. Lamar Jackson, top of his 3-step drop, Aiden Hutchinson's already running free. And this one, sure, it's a stunt. You're going to have that inside defensive tackle stunt over to his left, kind of in that A-gap on the right side of Tyler Linderbaum. Well, absolutely no communication. And he just runs right freaking past him. I mean, look at that. Just wide open. You can push it across, Gage. Wide open. You can run a truck through that hole. You could also run an interior defensive lineman for the Detroit Lions. So we talked about Linderbaum. We talked about Voorhees. We talked about Stanley. We talked about Rosengarten. They all had some pretty bad plays. Of course, we cannot leave our main man, Daniel Falele, out of it either. Because, per usual, he does something every game that you just scratch your head and say, what the hell? The Lions' defense against the Ravens was unbelievable. 7 sacks, 30 pressures, a turnover as well. The offensive line has to be better. I think Lamar Jackson has to be better as well. I'd like to see him check it down more. I'd like to see him throw it away every now and then. I'd like to see him, make a little bit better decisions under pressure. But that's not here or there, because the onus does fall on that front five. Now, the good thing is the Chiefs, who we've seen over their Super Bowl runs, have had unbelievable defensive lines. They've taken a little bit of a step back over the last season. So I think that is something very, very good that this team can hang their hat on. And honestly, it's one of those things to say, even though they've got Karlaftis, even though they've got Chris Jones, seems like Father Time has caught up to each of those guys, especially Jones. So this is going to be a really, really good chance for the offensive line to have a bounce-back game against Kansas City. I got an awesome deal for you, okay? I got a ton left to cover when it comes to this game. But before that, make sure you go to chatsports.com/purple-hoodie to get this Baltimore Ravens hoodie today. Look, when I go to a game and I'm in M&T Bank Stadium, well, I don't go anymore because I'm live on YouTube for all of them. Make sure you guys hang out with me later today. But when I used to go to games, I loved walking around the pro shop. Unfortunate thing, everything there, super expensive. If you go to chatsports.com/purple-hoodie, you'll find a hoodie, not very expensive at all, okay? Massive sale going on. chatsports.com/purple-hoodie. The link's in the comments. It's also in the description of today's video. Head there today to take advantage of it. Number 3, you have to have discipline in the pass rush. This one's huge, okay? Because the pass rush needs to be better. But I think when it comes to Mahomes, having discipline is almost better than being dominant. Because the Chiefs are talent deficient, and I know that's crazy to call the Kansas City Chiefs talent deficient, but they are. Mahomes often feels the urge to make things happen by himself. Now, to Patrick Mahomes' credit, he's one of the best in the National Football League in doing just exactly that. You can't let him hurt you. You can't let him slide around, extend plays, because that's what his receivers and pass catchers, Travis Kelce, that's what they're so good at, is they're in that scramble mode. He exits the pocket. Travis Kelce and him have done this 1,000,000 times over. He stops his route. He just goes and gets open. It's what Zay Flowers is so good at as well with Lamar Jackson. You can do everything right, and he can still burn. So you have to keep gap integrity, okay? You don't need to sack him 8 times. That'd be phenomenal. I'd sign up for that today. But at the end of the day, all I need you to do is keep your gaps, make some plays when they're there, and keep him contained. Keep him in the pocket. Keep him from extending these plays. Because if you do that, I think you're going to be able to keep a lot in front of you. He's had a pretty good season so far. Some ebbs, some flows. Again, he doesn't have the best talent on his roster, but still, he's Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. This needs to change, okay? You have to be able to get to him. You have to be able to pressure him. And you didn't do that against Detroit. And it's obvious right there. A pass rush win rate is what percentage of your pass rushes do you win in the first 2.5 seconds. All of these are under 18. 5 of them are under 6. Or 4 of them are under 6. It's not good enough, guys. It's not good enough. It needs to change. And you're going to have to do it against an offensive line that we talked about before. You got a chance to do it against, okay? They're not as good as they used to be. It's Vegas time. 1.5 sacks against Kansas City. I'm setting that as the over-under. Type O for over or type U for under in the comment section down below. It's a low line. I get it, but I think it's a perfect one. You let me know right now. Number 4, stop the run. You got to stop them running the football. The thing about Kansas City, we talked about their lack of talent already. They don't have crazy names. But if they're balanced, if Isaiah Pacheco can run the football, they can hurt you. Because those guys, it's a little bit easier for them to get wide open, right? Like if you just look at their team from face value of Pacheco, Marquise Brown, Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton is their 3rd best wide receiver, Travis Kelce at age 78. If you stop them from running, you're going to have to make those guys make plays on you. An injured Xavier Worthy, an old Marquise Brown, and Tyquan Thornton. The one game they played their best offensively was against Los Angeles. And I believe the reason they played so well offensively is because they were able to run the ball. 70 carries, 98 yards, 5.8 yards a carry, and a touchdown. Now, Patrick Mahomes was their leading rusher that game. So, again, a lot of that comes back to number 3. Be disciplined in your pass rush. But still, regardless, you got to take away that side of the football. What's your score prediction for Chiefs versus Ravens? I'm about to have mine after my 5th key to victory. So, probably about 2 minutes. You get yours down below before me, though, okay? I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to look at it. It's impossible for me to do so. You don't cheat on mine either and cast your vote. Number 5, and you've heard me say this before. I believe it's my 3rd time putting this on my keys to victory. And the reason I'm going to continue to do that is because if they would have done this in games past, they would have won. But they didn't. Make the play late. I know the Chiefs well enough. I know playing on the road in Arrowhead Stadium well enough. This game's most likely going to come down to the wire. Given the football that you've played this season, I think it's fair for me to assume that this game's going to come down to the wire. And if that's the case, the winner of this game is going to be who makes the play. Who can get that first down? Who can make that stop on defense? Who can make that big throw? Who can make that big catch? Who can force a turnover? Who can not fumble the football? You get what I'm saying, Derrick Henry. That's what it's going to come down to. Either you're going to have the ball in your hands with a chance to ice it or a chance to take the lead. Just like you did against Detroit twice. You had the ball in your hands down 4. Then you had the ball in your hands down 7. Both of those late in the 4th quarter. You couldn't score. Hell, you couldn't even cross the 50. Or your defense is going to be out there. Kansas City's going to have the ball in their hands to tie it. They're going to have the ball in their hands to ice it. They're going to have the ball in their hands to take the lead. Can you stop them? That's what this ball game is going to come down to at the end of the day. Making the play late. I think the Ravens get right. I do. I think they win this ball game. I think it's close. I think it's low scoring. I think it's 24-20. And I think they get back to 500, send the Chiefs down to 1-3. If they don't, man, I'll tell you this, Gage, we're going to have some conversations. Speaking of conversations, I love when you guys follow me on social media and we got a little good back and forth. The easiest way to do that is find me on Twitter, tweet at me, DM me. My DMs are open. You can find me there at JoeyPetersen8 or hit me up on Instagram at JoeyPetersen8 as well, right over there. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. All righty. That's going to do it for segment number 2. Victor. Nico saying 27-24, 23-20. I like it. B-Mar saying 21-24 Chiefs. I hope you're wrong too. I hope you are wrong. Derrick Henry talks about his fumble problem. Says, quote, I'm still pissed off. Good, Derrick. If you weren't, we'd have some pretty big problems, my friend. We would have some pretty big problems. That's for sure. Nico changing it. 24-21 Chiefs win. No. That is true. Moggs is, he's not lying. He left me a voicemail on Joey's Twitter Monday night. He did. He basically just recorded the ground and spoke for like 2.5 minutes, and I listened to every second of it. I loved it. Frank G saying 35-28 Chiefs. Baker Mayfield, I joined late. What's the big roster move in the title? Baker, first off, what's going on, man? Good luck to the Buccaneers this weekend. Second off, the big roster move. Baltimore Ravens signed a former first-round pick, Taven Bryan, interior defensive lineman, to the practice squad, although I expect him to be on the active roster on Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs, okay? He's played in 46 games, started 46 games over the last 6 or 7 seasons. Last season had 20 tackles. Year before that had 20 tackles. He's just going to be a solid depth piece at the interior of the defensive line, which I think is what this team needs. Nicholas Clover saying 35-28. Lots of different predictions, man. Maddie, Doctor, and Vincent going under on the sacks. I don't like that. I don't like that, man. We need the juice. We need it big. Okay, Gage. I feel like we're good on questions. Do you agree? Yeah. Because we got those 3 Super Chat questions we're going to get to. The 3 Super Chat questions we're gonna get to today is Henry should be next to LJ, only behind him, from Matty Boom. We're going to talk about that one. C. King says, what the F is wrong with our defense and offensive line? We'll get to that one. And then Jay Ralomes saying we need to have Hamilton play more of that Swiss Army knife role to improve the pass rush a little bit. So that way, like we'll open up regular, right, with that weigh-in opening up, and then I'll change it in the script. 3 Super Chat questions, then that one, then the weigh-in, and then everything else from there. And remember, I usually like to keep this 12-15. So, hey, we got 79 likes. Can we like the video to get it to 80? Okay? You guys have been great so far. This has been a really awesome stream. Probably, Gage, the best weekly live stream we've ever had. So, it has been. We'll take it. I'm impressed as well. Maybe we need to make a Super Chat menu for weekly live streams. Yep, I agree. Okay. Are we ready to roll, Gage? The first Super Chat question I want to answer is, yeah, Seekings. Yep, that one. Christian, I'm good. How are you doing, brother? Our flock, I am over it. It took me a while. I definitely wasn't over it yesterday. But, hey, we've slept twice since then. Not much. Not easily. But I'm over it now, okay? I'm over it now. All righty. Mailbag time. Gage, you ready to roll? All right, let's do it. Coming at you right now. You know, the longer we do this channel, the more new viewers we get, okay? Every day we're getting thousands of new viewers. So I want to know you guys a little bit better, okay? How long have you been a Ravens fan? Obviously, the franchise started 30 years ago, 1996. So give me the year you started cheering for the Baltimore Ravens down below in the comments section, so that way I can know you guys a little bit better. Starting off with our first question. This one came from a super chat from my man C King, King of the Seas. This team makes me so sad. What the F is wrong with our offensive and defensive line? Man, what a loaded question. So I'm going to start with the defensive line. Unfortunately, you're dealing with the injuries of both Nnamdi Madubuike and, of course, Kyle Van Noy. That hurts a lot. Second, man, if you look at the end of last year, and if you just look at last year in general, yeah, they got sacks, but they struggled a lot getting pressure on the quarterback. And outside of drafting Mike Green and Anais Peebles, who, let's face it, they're rookies. Mike Green, so far, unfortunately, doesn't look that great. They really didn't do much to help it. And guys have really only gotten older, okay? And that's important for a guy like Kyle Van Noy, who is already decently old. There's a reason they call him Unc, okay? I also don't think they blitz enough. That's going to help your defensive line a lot if you blitz more. They blitz the 30th most out of National Football League teams. If you don't know how many teams are in the NFL, it's 32. So they blitz the third least of all teams in the National Football League. Offensive line now, I just don't think you got a really good interior. Plain and simple. I don't think Andrew Voorhees is very good. I don't think that Daniel Faalele is very good. So, just the way the cookie crumbles, just the way it is. Matty Boom, Henry should never be next to LJ, only behind him. Interesting. I'm going to take this as pistol or under center. And I don't disagree. Okay? I don't disagree. Because I think Derrick Henry is better when he's got a little bit of a head start. Right? I don't know if you watched the thing on Monday night, but they showed one of those like next-gen stats that he averages hitting the line of scrimmage at like 11.1 miles an hour, which is the second fastest of anybody in the National Football League. And when that guy has a head of steam already built up at his size, he becomes almost impossible to take down. So I'm not against, when they run read options, when they just hand it off to him, whether it's stretch, inside zone, anything, I'm not against doing that out of the pistol. I'm being 100% honest with you. Next question, this one coming up from another super chat, this one from our friend Jay Relomes. We need to have Hamilton play more of that Swiss Army knife role to improve pass rush a little bit. I hear what you're saying. Unfortunately, I just don't think we have the depth of safety to play Hamilton more in that Swiss Army knife role. And I don't know how much that would help the pass rush, unfortunately. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where Kyle Hamilton lines up. If you're not winning those one-on-one reps, your pass rush is not going to improve. That's what it's going to come down to, is those guys winning from the guy they're lined up across from. And they lost against the Detroit Lions. They lost all night long, man. So, unfortunately, you can put him wherever you want to. It's not really going to help. Should the Ravens trade for Cam Jordan? Coming in from Stevie's Wonder. Good question. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. I don't think Cam Jordan's very good. Not anymore. He's old. He took a massive step back last season. I just don't think he's going to help your defense very much. Like, if you're going to make a trade for somebody, like I talked about on Wednesday, make a trade for a Dexter Lawrence, a Quinnen Williams, a Jeffrey Simmons, somebody who could come in here and shake up the way this game is played. Shake things up heavily on the interior, on the front. Cam Jordan doesn't do that anymore, unfortunately. If this was 2015, sure, I'm all for it, man, but it's not. It's 2025. Cam Jordan isn't the player that he used to be, unfortunately, and so trading for him, it's just not going to do much. Okay? I wish it would, but it won't. What say you guys? Should the Ravens trade for Cam Jordan? You give me a yes or a no in the comment section down below, okay? Yes means you want it to happen. No means you're like, I don't care. I personally would be typing yes. Some of you guys might be typing, I personally would be typing no. Some of you guys, maybe for one reason or the other, really want it to happen. And if that's you, tell me why in the comment section down below. Ravens 76B more with our next question. If we lose Sunday, you predict any big changes coming? Yeah, man, I do. If we lose Sunday and it shows another poor defensive effort, I think that possible defensive coordinator changes could be happening. I talked about it in Friday's video, and I might even be talking about it in this video coming up if that's one of the next questions. But I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Zach Orr loses his job, if there's another poor defensive showing. Maybe Chuck Pagano gets that promotion up. I don't think that's going to happen, but if it does happen, I think it'd be warranted. I'll just say that, okay? Because what you've seen so far from a defense that's got this amount of talent, it's just flat out not good enough, guys. It's not good enough. Christian Coveney up next. Ooh, Joey, why do you think this team keeps shooting themselves in the foot? Do you also think they might sign or trade for defensive lineman / edge rusher? So on Wednesday, they signed a new defensive lineman. I think if it continues to be really bad and Nnamdi Madubuike has a really bad problem with his neck, as in he's going to be out for months, maybe they trade for an interior defensive lineman to kind of, substitute that loss. Now, why I think this team keeps shooting themselves in the foot, I don't know, man. I really don't. They have shown the exact opposite of having a clutch gene this season. Usually, I have a lot of confidence with the ball in Lamar Jackson's hand with the game on the line. But so far, through the 2 losses this season, he hasn't given me much to be confident about. Think back to Buffalo. Sure, the defense has sucked, and they've put the offenses in these situations. I'm not saying they haven't. But I want to talk about the offense for a second. Think back to Buffalo. You had the ball. All you had to do was get a first down. You couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. Think back to Detroit. You had the ball in your hands down 4. Derrick Henry fumbled. You then had the ball in your hands again down 7. And you punted it away. You couldn't even cross the 50 in that case. I don't know what's going on with this offense, man. I really, really don't. Obviously, they're putting up points. I think they've scored 97 points this season. I'm not saying they're the problem. I'm just saying it's not 100% the defense's fault because they're putting the offense at least in some positions to go win the game. Moggs is up next. YTF, are we not grinding defenses down with short passes and screens to Zay, especially when he's so dangerous in open space? That would allow Lamar Jackson to build a rhythm and defensive tendencies. I don't disagree. It seems like that was kind of the game plan going into week 1 and week 2. You saw a ton of just quick targets to Zay Flowers. Get that man the ball. Get that man the ball in open space. We all know that Todd Monken loves to do that. It seemed like they went away from that for Detroit, and I don't know why. Especially with your offensive line being as poor as it's been. Dude, you want to get the ball out quickly. You want to, limit the amount of time that Lamar Jackson has to hold on to the ball, and you just want to get it to your best players and get it to them in space. I don't know why that's not happening. I hope that changes against the Kansas City Chiefs. What I also hope changes is y'all's iPhone home screen, because I hope you add something to it, and our friends at PrizePicks by adding their app and using our code CLNS. Once you do that, you get $50 in lineups when you play $5. You and I make decisions every day. But on PrizePicks, you know what? It's really, really cool because being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. PrizePicks invented the Flex Play, which means you can still cash out even if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And I want to talk about how awesome this Flex Play is. So say this is my PrizePicks lineup. I've got the more on Zay Flowers, half a receiving touchdown. The more on Derrick Henry, half a rushing touchdown. The more on Patrick Mahomes, 247.5 pass yards. Say those two things hit, and say you're just destroying Kansas City. Say Patrick Mahomes gets 150 passing yards. If you flex play it, you can get that wrong, and you could still win money. So download the PrizePicks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. Let's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. Coming up, another $5 super chat from Jay Relomes. Does EDC go out for CJ Gardner-Johnson? I don't know, man. He's available at the current recording of this video. He got released by the Houston Texans. Was that Tuesday or Monday, Gage? I believe it was Monday as well. Got released from the Texans on Monday. I wouldn't hate it, but again, like in my opinion, your problem is not at the cornerback position. Your problem is at the defensive line. Plain and simple. I don't think they'll add to the cornerback position. I think Awuzie's been playing really well. I think Nate Wiggins has been playing really well. I think Marlon Humphrey has had highs and he's had lows. But do you know how hard it is to be a cornerback in the National Football League, having to cover somebody over you when the quarterback has unlimited time to throw the football? This defense gets better when the pass rush steps up. Okay? So I don't think they'll add C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Well, up next, if you could make a trade as Eric DeCosta, what would you trade and who would you trade for? I'd trade a third for Jeffrey Simmons. I think that's going to be the best value. You only give up a third-round pick. You get a guy that's always been the best player on his defense, and I think he'd be phenomenal in this Ravens system, playing for Zach Orr, playing for this defense, playing in this defensive line, and I really, really like Jeffrey Simmons, okay? I really, really do. So that's the move I would make. Up next is Duck. Considering how Mark did against the Lions, do you think he solidifies tight end 1 or Isaiah Likely? I think we got to see a couple weeks of Isaiah Likely. Mark was phenomenal, and that was great because he needed that game. We needed him to have that game, right? But Isaiah Likely hasn't played yet. Now, at the current recording of this video, he's still planning on playing Sunday against the Chiefs. I'd give him a couple of weeks. I'd give him the Chiefs game, the Texans game, and the Rams game. And I think after that, you'll be able to tell really who the tight end 1 is on this roster. But hey, hats off to Mark, man. Played a hell of a game. Really, really love seeing that from him. Occupy, in your opinion, what else needs to be done in order to put the Ravens on the right path? I don't know. I think Keaton Mitchell needs to be playing, and I think he needs to be integrated in this offense. I truly believe that. Maybe you need to max protect more. Maybe you need to run more 12 personnel. 2 tight ends in there, okay? Give Lamar Jackson maybe a little bit more time. And I think you got to make a move on the defensive line. I think you do. Trade somebody. Do something. I just don't think that unit, as it's currently constructed, is good enough to win you a Super Bowl, unfortunately. And I hate that because I had faith in them going into this year. Not like blind faith, but I had faith. Unfortunately, through the first 3 weeks, they're not looking good. Last up, before we get to, or actually second last up, Victor Denson. Should Chuck Pagano take over a bigger role on the defense? I wouldn't mind it, man. I'll tell you this. If Zach Orr gets fired, Chuck Pagano is the guy that's going to take over as defensive coordinator. I'll tell you that right now. So, I don't think that Zach Orr is going to get fired anytime soon unless the defense gives up like 60 against Kansas City. But with how bad that offense is in Kansas City, I wouldn't be surprised if you had a really good defensive showing. Chuck Pagano, maybe he needs to take a bigger role. I don't know. I would love it, man. I like Chuck Pagano. I really do. He sees the talent on this roster. We know he likes to blitz a hell of a lot more than Zach Orr does, so I wouldn't mind the move. Jack Harbaugh with our final question. What's up, Jack? What's been the Ravens' biggest problem? It's been the pass rush. It's what we've been talking about for the last 13, 14 minutes. It's not even close. When the quarterback has that much time to throw, I don't care if it's Darrelle Revis, Champ Bailey, Deion Sanders. I don't care who it is covering. You're not going to be able to stop anybody. The quarterback has all day. You got to put pressure. These guys are too damn good. There's a reason they're in the National Football League. They will pick you apart if they have all day to throw the football. Plain and simple. What do you think Baltimore's biggest problem has been? You let me know in the comment section down below. Okay? Comment your answer. Let me know. I gave you my answer. Now it's time for you to get me yours. Alrighty, that's going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you got me on Twitter and Instagram at JoeyPetersen8 on both those platforms. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, Change that today by hitting that big red sub button. All righty. 3 up, 3 down. Hey, can we get to 100 likes? Can we get to 100? That's 14 away. There's 56 watching. I know not all of you have liked the video, okay? We need 14 more likes to get us to 100. And if we do that, I'll give away a free raffle ticket for Sunday's jersey raffle, okay? If we can get to 100 likes. We had a little bit of a longer live stream than usual because you guys have been so much fun to hang out with and be with. They were phenomenal today. Y'all brought it, man. Y'all brought it. Most we've ever made on a live stream. I think most viewers we ever had peak at a live stream, 111. You brought it, man. You absolutely brought it. Okay. Looks like that like number is not changing, unfortunately. Appreciate you guys for being here. Hey, a reminder. I'll have a video on the channel later. I'll have a video on the channel tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday we're going live as well. Okay, so join us, 3:25 Eastern. Let me make sure that's when that game kicks off. Ravens versus Chiefs. I'm pretty sure it's 3:25. It is. Okay, good. That made me happy. Young secondary just can't stop a cold, says Tranisha. Yep. Oh, Sam's been liking it. Thanks, Sam. I appreciate it. All righty. That's going to do it. For Producer Gage, my name is Joey Petersen. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and God bless.